So it's the World Cup starting next week, or this week, depending on when this goes live.
When you see it, might have already started.
It might have already started. I mean, the World Cup might have been years ago. The World Cup might not exist anymore. The World Cup was a football tournament, and in 2018 it was held
in Russia, in many cities across Russia, unlike the European side. Anyway, we've been sat around thinking about a way of playing with this, seeing what we could do other than playing football, obviously, and our Panini sticker albums. It's been a lot of trading. But we thought, why don't we try and connect the World Cup with our faith? Because what's more related than the world, the universe, and our faith? So, Tom, what are we going to do?
We're going to do a fantasy football team of saints.
Oh yeah.
So let's start as we always do in goal, and I'm going to nominate.
I'm going to do the sign of the cross. That's where I'm going to start.
I'm going to start in goal, and I'm going to nominate Pope Saint John Paul II. A great man, a phenomenal inspiration. He was Polish and there at the World Cup, which is always good. But more importantly, when he was younger, he was a goalkeeper. So he's already cut out for this position already.
Yeah.
We haven't got to look to saints who never play football. He did, and he was good at it. So that's where I'm going to start. Where do you go next?
I think we need to go straight into central defence, and I think if anything sums up defence more than St. Paul the Apostle, then I challenge you to tell me, because he is a defender of the faith. After being converted, he was playing for a different team for a while, but after his conversion, he's just been a solid defender of our faith for 2,000 years now.
Excellent choice. I'm going to start on the left wing next, or left wing back. And in true Brazilian attacking style, I'm going to go for St. George. He's just known all over the place. So many of our World Cup nations have St. George as their patron, including host nations Russia and the team that are definitely not going to win, England. But I really like the fact that George would be bombing up and down that wing, just going to all different places, doing amazing things, and more importantly, tackling any dragons.
I don't think he ever did. So, Thomas More was a...
sorry.
Welcome back, Thomas. So, Thomas More was a saint, is a saint. He was the Archbishop of Canterbury for a little bit, particularly during the Reformation. He was one of the first martyrs of the Reformation because he refused to accept that King Henry VIII was going to be the head of the church in England. Thomas Aquinas.
Thomas Aquinas, great man.
So Thomas Aquinas was around in the Middle Ages. He was kind of around the time when people were starting to doubt and challenge faith a bit more. The popes were going off it a bit, and he was there to encourage and wrote a lot of letters and novels. Not novels.
Novels?
Why would you write a novel?
Stories, lovely fantasy. He was a great lover of the romantic fiction.
Famously wrote Romeo and Juliet.
I'm going to go for our right back, and I'm going to go for St. Rose of Lima. Lima is the capital of Peru, and St. Rose is the patron saint of all of South America. So she's really representing a whole host of nations, many of whom have a rich World Cup tradition, including Uruguay, who won the first World Cup.
I think one person that we've missed out here big time, maybe one of the most important people to have ever lived, was of course our Mother Mary. Now Mary of Guadalupe is a massive saint in Mexico who are also playing in the World Cup this year, and I think she needs to go straight in the centre midfield. Like she's just working hard, never hardly working.
She just does so much. She's an untier of knots, so she can just get us out of a tricky situation in midfield. She's a captain, she's a leader, she's a legend. She's like England footballers of the past who were heroic.
Way too many Harry Redknapp speeches.
I'm also going to go for another fantastic central midfielder, and that is the Apostle Thomas. Not just because he has the same name as me, but also because he travelled the furthest of all the apostles. And what more do you need in central midfield than a real workhorse? A proper engine to drive the game, like N'Golo Kante, just roaming around, solving problems and generally being wonderful.
He's a bulldozer, the man's a giant.
I know one area we haven't mentioned and one area that we really need to mention. So the World Cup draws together nations from all across Africa, Asia, Europe, South America, North America, and also Oceania. And the patron saint of Oceania is St. Peter Channel, I think is how you say his name, or it might be Chanel, depending on your outlook and the way that you speak words. And he was a great missionary who travelled from Europe down to Australia to evangelise the nation and to draw people closer to Christ. So he was really famous for crossing water, and so we're going to be relying on him to be crossing those balls into the box, just like David Beckham. That's right.
Or De Bruyne.
Or De Bruyne.
For anyone in this century.
So Catherine of Sienna, she's one of the patron saints of Europe, and she was a phenomenal woman. She travelled all across Europe, really repairing some of the divides that had happened in the church, building stronger relationships and drawing people closer to Christ. She's my number 10. She's behind the striker, she's working hard, she's absolutely everywhere, covering so much ground and doing so much good work. So, we need an attacker, we need a towering centre forward, we need our Zlatan.
St. Peter Crouch.
Is not yet a saint, Charles. Maybe one day in the future we'll be looking upon Saint Alan Shearer. But until then, we're going to have to make do with Saint Joseph of Cupertino. I'm not entirely sure where Cupertino is. It's definitely not in Nottinghamshire. However, Saint Joseph of Cupertino had an incredible relationship with Christ, and his joy was so strong that he would often levitate, rising up to meet those headers and planting them firmly into the back of the net and giving World Cup Briars Saints team the lead. So we're going to very quickly just sum this up by running through our starting 11, starting in goal with Pope St. John Paul II.
And then 3 centre-backs, St. Thomas More, St. Thomas Aquinas and St. Paul.
Great defenders.
Fantastic.
We're guaranteed a clean sheet with those three in the team.
Yep.
At right back, we've got St. Rose of Lima, and on the left back, we've got St. George. Okay, so moving into midfield, where we have
Mary of Guadalupe and Thomas the Apostle.
And then we have a front three of St. Peter Channel, St. Catherine of Sienna, and in front, banging the goals in, St. Joseph of Cupertino. And that, I think, is a phenomenal team of phenomenal people.
Yeah.
Uniting the world, uniting all of our prayers.
Well, that's it. But of course, we could have chosen literally any saint that has lived throughout the ages. They are fantastic, holy men and women.
Okay, we'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Let us know if we've missed anyone out of the team. Yeah. Subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you all real soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Bye-bye.
Cool. Bye, everyone.